Welcome back, everyone, to another one of our heart-powered, inspiring interviews. And as you know, every time we invite an amazing
Mm,
speaker, entrepreneur, change maker that's really rocking the world and that can share with you a lot of golden nuggets on how you bring your speaking and your business to the next level.
mm,
Today, I invite a very special guest that I've already had a pleasure to interview quite a few times and meet quite a few times and learn from him and get inspired by him quite a few times. His name is Darren Lacroix, and he is currently the only speaker in the world who is a CSP, like a certified speaking professional, an AS, an accredited speaker, and a world champion of public speaking all in one go. And to be very honest, his bio reads like a real life underdog story filled with humor and hope. And I love these lines that you have, on your bio, Darren, where you say, you felt invisible in high school.
hmm
Failed.
Amen.
You failed as a business owner. You
I,
worked in a cubicle for over a decade. And today you are a world champion speaker. And what made the difference for you can make, what made the difference for Darren can make the difference for all of you. So welcome today. And, again, I think there's so much to say about Darren, right? I mean, just want to give you a little glimpse into who he is in his bio. And his story really, he failed with his business in 92. He took the stage at a Boston Comedy Club and he bombed miserably. And I love that story. And I think that when you were a speaker, you all bombed at some point, so you can probably relate. And friends told him that his dream of making people laugh for a living was crazy and stupid and outrageous and everything else. And he didn't listen. He really again became he became the living proof that anything can be learned. And then in 2001, a magical year for you, Darren, you outspoke 25,000 contestants from 14 countries to become the world champion of public speaking. And guess what? Of course, you did a bit of funny speech, right? And
hmm
since then, I know that you've traveled the world, demystifying the process of creating a powerful presentation and speech. And I learned a lot from you and I got inspired a lot by you, and so did a lot of people. And I know that you haven't only spoken in every state in the US, but you've also been inspiring people in more than 45 countries and probably more by now. And I know that you're very passionate about showing that, if you're a sponge and you have the right mentors, anything is possible. I know there's a lot more to say about you, Darren, but again, first of all, a wholehearted welcome from me.
Hmm. Thank you. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited. I love talking about this because I think speakers, especially entrepreneurs who are presenters and use it for growing their business, I think sometimes we forget because we're on that island. Thank God you have your community so people can have that island where they're around other entrepreneurs who are doing this. We need that. We need that encouragement. So I know that what we do helps the world, but when we help each other, we're helping the world, but it's being multiplied.
Very much so. So let's jump right in. And after these inspiring words already to kick it off, but let's jump right in, Darren. I always like to know what is up your sleeves right now? What are the three magical things that you do right now to bring your own speaking and business to the next level, where sometimes people from the outside might say, doesn't need to bring it back up, but hey, it's a lifelong journey of growth and evolvement, right? So what are your magical three things that you do right now to bring your speaking and business to the next level?
Well, a couple things or three things. First is when I first got started in the stand-up comedy world, my mentors told me any day that you don't get on stage is a day that you don't grow. And I thought, well, but don't I have to be good? They said, no, you have to do it to get good. And I think when we're young and eager or new into this business, we're open to learning. And as I say, like you said, be a sponge to sponge up every idea we can. The challenge comes a little ways down the road when we get good and then our ego gets in the way. That ego is what stops us from growing. We think we're quote unquote good enough. So my mentor said stage time, stage time, stage time. So that is the one habit that helps me. And what I will say, and by the way, you're not going to like this, record yourself every time. And I know when I say that, people think, oh, I don't want to listen to myself. I hate to listen. Well, guess what? If you want your audience to listen, you should be willing to listen to yourself. Because no matter what, when you and I are on stage, we're in front of an audience, whether it's 10 people on Zoom or 1,000 people in a live room, we have that opportunity to influence. That opportunity is multiplied. And as you know, Monique, that 80% of paid speeches come as a result of someone who's seen you speak. But the principle behind that is you're good when you get that opportunity. Then people can feel you, can sense you. And because of that, that's why you get hired. I mean, I just got hired again this week from someone who I knew 4 years ago in Toastmasters, who worked at Toastmasters headquarters. She wasn't even a Toastmaster, but now she's an executive at another company. I stayed in touch via LinkedIn, reached out and said hello. And she's like, hey, I need to train some of my executives globally. Let's talk. And so I had a call yesterday, could turn into a mega contract, but I just reached out. But it's because she saw me speak before. She had me speak at the Toastmasters convention. So make no mistake how good you are. And we never can stop learning. Never. So again, stage time, record yourself every time. And then because of COVID, a lot of us were challenged. And I don't want to say it's easy for me. Yes, I had a virtual setup already. I was doing some virtual. I had to upgrade my virtual to look better than everybody else, or at least as good as world-class presenters. So a business is challenging. So if you hear a speaker and they just tell you that they're making $1 million per speech and well, guess what? There's some truth behind it. And I always tell a story that I had one time where I had to pull my staff aside. I have 4 staff members, and I had to say, look, I don't know if we're going to hit payroll next week. I mean, that's humbling. But most speakers aren't willing to admit it. But I know there's someone listening to this that they think they're alone and they think they're the only one. And so one of the new lessons because of COVID that I had to learn is my job is to get leads, And whether that's have a podcast that draws in leads, whether it's out there connecting with people. So I say leads first, game changers, leads first. So every day, are you reaching out for leads? And it's a new habit. I don't want to do that. For 18 years, I never had to do that. Well, guess what? I do now. And if we're not willing to adapt and change, ain't nothing gonna happen. Like a dream, if you dream of this, a dream is not something you wish for, it's something you work for. Not something you wish for, it's something you work for.
Powerful. I love these 3. And I like to go a little more deep into every single one. So you say stage time. And you know what breaks my heart, Darren, is, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that speak. And especially now in the Corona time, a lot of people spoke a lot online. And I just recently had a conversation again with a lady, and she said, well, I was always out there. I spoke at every summit, at every podcast, at everywhere. But I never gained anything back for my business. I didn't attract clients. I didn't, right? And then she stopped doing it. She said, hey, I'm putting myself out there all the time, and I feel like I'm not getting anything back. So what do you do that when you are out there? As you say, 80% of our speaking opportunities come from speaking opportunities. Very true, right? So what do you do to actually turn a speech into an additional speaking opportunity and to really get the results you want from your speaking and you speaking to grow your business further?
That's a great question, because you can just do the same presentation and maybe tweak it a little as you go and never grow your business. That is very possible. I think this probably was her challenge, is are you finding a way to track results? So especially if it's virtual, are you finding a way to track results? Meaning, when you're done presenting, do people want more from you? Do people want more from you? Now, some audiences, it just might not be the perfect fit, and that's okay. But if 80% of the time you present, and people aren't signing up for your free newsletter, aren't buying your book, aren't asking you, hey, could you come speak to my group? The problem is your speech. Your speech was not that good. Maybe you were animated. Maybe your intention was great. But look, it wasn't until I was a speaker, did stand up for 9 years, speaking for 7 years, until I finally got a coach. If you don't have a coach, look, and this is a little bit of my truth. This is just my opinion. I don't put this on Monique. So if you're mad, get mad at me. But there's 2 kinds of presenters. those who see the value in a coach, and those who will never, ever reach their full potential. There's stories, there's gold in your life that a coach can pull out. In my championship speech, my coach said, hey, you know what? This is a good speech. I like the idea, but we need a bigger failure from your life. And I thought about it. I'm like, well, I remembered in my old stand-up comedy days, I used to do a joke about my Subway failure. And he said, well, try that out. And I delivered that. And he said, that's perfect. See, it was perfect to him. I was too close to it. So number one, there's stories inside you a coach will dig out. And number two, you don't tell those stories for the audience's best benefit, for their listening, for their ear, because you're too close. You're using facts or narrating it in a way that might be okay, might be good, but doesn't get people to feel you. You know, one of the adjustments I made after probably in the past 10 years was making my new goal. When I tell a story, I ask myself and I ask the audience, do they feel something? Which seems like an odd goal, but I learned from a Hollywood scriptwriter. His name is Michael Haig. He said, the goal of any story is to elicit emotion. Well, you can speak all the time, whether it's for free or for a fee, and people are like, oh, they were pretty good. But if people are talking about themselves, not about you, themselves, and what they could do differently, the problem is your speech. Well, you can work on it all you want, but unless you have a qualified coach to help give you feedback, it's never going to reach its full potential. Look, yes, I coach. Come to me. I don't like coaching. It's not my favorite thing, but I do it. But find the person that resonates with you who is a coach. Ask around, buy a book from them, take a class from them, do and if you like them and if you believe you would trust them and be open to them, get that coach. So if you're, it's the old adage that if you keep on doing what you've been doing, as Les Brown says, you keep on getting what you've been getting. Well, if you're speaking all the time and you're not getting business, that doesn't mean doing the presentation is wrong. It means what you're doing in the presentation is wrong.
Yeah. What are you saying? How are you saying it? And you don't need to, convince me. I'm all in with you on that, right, Darren? I mean, I'm actually not only convinced, I'm living and breathing it. I constantly have several coaches and mentors to get support because we cannot grow and evolve just out of our own. So very powerful. And I know also that there's a lot of people that say, well, you know what, I've been out there speaking for free all the time. I really want to build a bridge from free to paid. And I know that you've run a program quite a while ago, and you're probably still running it and offering it on how to build a bridge from free to paid speaking. So what are some of the first things people should do to really step away from getting paid to speak?
Well, again, even if you're
starting to get paid,
even if you're speaking for free, you can measure the results. How many people are on, if it's virtual, how many people are on the Zoom call? And then if you're speaking for free, they should let you offer what we call a lead magnet. Okay. The lead magnet is giving out content, but getting their email on their list that they like you, they want more from you. So my lead magnet is the top 10 speaking mistakes. So it's a free PDF after 2 decades of coaching. Here's what I see over and over and over again. And some of them are very easy to avoid, but if you're not aware of it, so it's content that I give. And I also do a free training. So it's a 59-minute recording of 3 secrets to an unforgettable presentation. For Toastmasters, I have a different lead magnet, which is a free contest training, how to create a stronger contest speech. So what are you giving for free? Well, in the freebie, that's when we should be upgrading them. That's when we should be asking for the sale. So my trainings are 59 minutes for free, rock solid content, game-changing content, things that I wish I learned early on. And then in the video training, I say, hey, have we earned the right to let you know how you can learn more from us? That's a great bridge question. Have I earned the right? Because they're there for free. You gave. And if somebody's like, no, you haven't, well, then freaking they're not one of your customers. They're tire kickers. That's fine. There's always going to be some of them. But then we do a 29-minute hard pitch with permission. If they want to stop watching the video, they can. But if they're serious and if you engage them, then I offer. So one of my programs is $1,000 for business mastery. For Toastmasters, it's $377. So it's getting them with permission to be in your funnel. So I turn a lot of those freebies into paid bees, if you will. And those people who are in my audience, they also work for companies. They know people who know people. And that's how a lot of my speaking is, has turned into paid speeches as well. But on your website, we got to ask, do you have a fee? If somebody asks you, what's that fee? Do you hem and haw? My fee is $17,000. Okay, we don't have that kind of budget. Well, I know some speakers who could fit that budget. It's okay. Some conventions won't even look at you unless you're over, and I'm talking US, by the way. When some conventions, if you're not over 5,000, they won't even consider you. Bureau doesn't even want to talk to you unless you're charging 5,000. So build your list. My list is my number one asset. My speech is my number one marketing tool. So you want to bridge, start asking. Start giving away, but building your list. If they're not willing to give you their email, your speech sucks. Plain and simple.
And how do you solve it? Find a coach that can help you to make it rocket, right? So
Amen.
Beautiful. You also spoke about, I loved the coin that you showed, or that was saying like, the number one is leads, right? Yeah, there. I love it. It's beautiful. You can sew it on your suit and carry it around every day to never forget, right? So every time you look into a mirror, you get reminded. Powerful. So what are your top 3 best ways of getting these leads? Of course, giving an amazing speech, but what else?
Of getting leads. So you can obviously create content on any of the platforms. So if you love YouTube, YouTube is my number one way to get leads. I've been doing it since, I don't even remember, but I want to say like 1995. So I can't say I'm making $1 million from it, but I get a lot of leads. I just looked literally before we started this. I had 74,000 minutes people watched in the past 30 days. So pick your platform, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok. I just started doing TikTok because it's fun, it's short, but you want to have joy in it. You want to deliver value. So figure out which platform. You can't do all of them well. You can do all of them, but pick that one platform that you are going to own. And that's one way to build that list. Another way, you can influence people to join your list. You can pay for leads, find a place, find a lead source. There's a lot out there, but now you've got to convert them. How do you do that? The same way. You can literally, there's a couple of websites that I'll recommend. 10 times, the number 10, TIMES, is a place to find conventions and conferences. Well, there's conventions and conferences around the world. Go look it up. Start at home. Start with your home city that has a convention. Where's the closest convention? I live in Las Vegas. So again, I'm going back to the grassroots the past 2 months. I went back to vegasmeansbusiness.com, which is our convention and visitors bureau. I looked at the website. I realized I used to be listed there, a vendor. I'm not. I don't know what happened. So I went back in, I called people, I talked to people. I got listed. Now I'm first on the list because they do it alphabetically. So I use my keynote all in as a title. So that put me first. But we got to go back and find the people. Now, you can't just reach out necessarily. We want to have a one sheet or a demo video that elicits emotion and that speaks to the meeting planner's need. Remember, the event planner has an audience that they're responsible to. That audience has challenges. How does your keynote, your speech, your training, how does your training solve that problem? And we got to be clear. 3-4 minute video, but your goal is to be known and create awareness. Every day we should be reaching out. I talked to yesterday a rock star. I won't mention names, but she told me every day 2 or 3 people she reaches out to. She created her list of top 100 conventions and conferences that she wants to speak at who have her budget, and it's a lot. And she says every day 2 or 3 reach outs. So how many reach outs did you do today? What if you did 10 a day? I can go on and on. I love this stuff. Well, go ahead.
Powerful. I love it, and I love your passion for it, right? And obviously you're living and breathing it. It's powerful, Darren. Great. So, I know you're an action taker, and so am I. And when we take action consistently, it becomes a habit. It's often our habits that really drive our success. So, what is one of your major success habits to really rock it in the speaking and business world?
I think it's the new one that I'm developing. So number one, stage time, stage time, stage time. That has served me well. My license plate in Las Vegas said stage time because
I saw a picture with you on it. It's beautiful.
That's the habit that got me from wannabe to in demand. Okay. Right. Now it's the leads. So this is actually a button. This is a big wooden button because if you think, if you think about it, in the morning when you're tired and you get up, one of the first things you do is put on your shirt, put on your blouse. And do you ever have a day, Monique, where you miss it and you put it in wrong? Well, guess what? Then you go down the whole shirt or blouse and they're all wrong. We got to get the first button right first. Yeah. So my new habit, which I hadn't done in 18 years, I hadn't needed to, because I was speaking a lot for free, which led to high fee keynotes. I did one for Wells Fargo, $3,500. That's way below my fee, but it got me in the door, and then it led to 3 more keynotes at $9,000, which was my fee at that time. So I got in the door to prove myself because my speech was good, and I only got a breakout session, and I only had 30 minutes. I'm like, you're bringing me in for 30 minutes? And I said, well, if they're paying me, it ain't a lot, but I'll go there. But here was my goal, to be so good. Everyone at the convention was talking about my session. Well, what better way to get known than to have that opportunity? But anyway, going back to your question, my new habit is leads first. Before I start my day, I check my emails, leads first before I do my other stuff.
Very powerful.
Track it. Put it on a spreadsheet, track it. As your numbers grow, if you do 10 reach outs a day, in 10 days, that's 100 reach outs, 100 people who are now aware of you.
Powerful.
That weren't because you didn't do anything.
Love it. Leads button. Okay, love it. Get one of Darren's leads buttons, by the way. I don't know, Darren, are you selling them? Well, everyone wants to have a button now. Okay. But anyhow, so, also what we like to do is in our interviews, we don't really like to inspire people. And you've showered them with tons of golden nuggets already. Thank you for that. It's amazing. What we like to actually do in every one of our interviews is we like to take people to turn their inspiration into action right away, because only action is going to get them results. So we always give them like a weekly challenge with the interview to say, what is one thing they can do today? One concrete action they can take today, turn their inspiration from our conversation into concrete action.
Great question. So if speaking is your thing, stage time, stage time, stage time. But to keep it really simple, so Monique, this is brand new. I've never taught about this. I'm going to teach it at my upcoming boot camp called Game Changers. I live in Las Vegas, and I don't know if you ever thought of gamification, but it was a buzzword 10 years ago. So I had some Vegas chips made with my company on it, Stage Time University, and here's 10 chips. And so what I'm doing now is not just the habit, but I want a visualization of the habit. So I stack these 10 chips on my desk, and literally I do a reach out. I then pick up a chip and put it on another pile. I do a reach out, I pick up a chip and put it on another pile. Now I'm saying 10 because I want you to have a big impact. But even if it's 2 or 3, now it might take some time to research and find them. I get it, but isn't it worth a half hour a day to build your business and get in front of more audiences? If you're not doing that habit, you're just not serious about getting on stage.
Get it. Absolutely love it. And I love these chips, right? So now everyone wants to have a pile of chips, but even if you don't have chips, what I suggest, okay, as to you, right? So Stage Time University, love it, Darren. Well, we invite everyone that is watching us right now today, take action, okay? If you don't have these chips, which, we don't just yet, until Darren makes them, sells them on his platform, right?
You
But
could you could just use, Monique, you could just use quarters or
yeah,
pennies.
exactly. Use coin. That's what I wanted to say. Use coins or use something else, right? Use like 10 pounds or something. It doesn't really matter what it is. Put them on your side today. Okay, choose your number. Is it 2, 3, 5, or 10? Right? Again, how serious are you? How much do you want to stretch yourself? So choose your number. Put 3 coins on your right-hand side. Reach out to 3 event organizers or someone that can get you and open you your next best stage time. Okay. And again, reach out to these people and move the coins over. And then again, in our HeartPowered Global Nation, let us know when you've done it so we can cheer you on and support you. And if you have any questions, we're here to support, right? Thank you, Darren. That's a powerful action. And I think, again, it's an action not only to do today, but as you said, to do consistently. But only if you take action within the 21st first hours, the 24 first hours, then we give it a chance to make it a habit eventually, right? So take action on it today. Great, Darren. I know a lot of people want to learn from you and want to learn more about Stage Time University. I know you have an amazing event coming up as well now soon. Where can people find more about you? Where can they connect with you?
Well, if you want, I suggest this as a sample, but go to my top 10 speaking mistakes, top 10, number 10, speaking mistakes, get my lead magnet, and then create your own. Use it as that idea. And usually people they want to avoid a negative rather than aspire to a positive. So what are the mistakes in your industry and what you do? So just change it to your world and obviously from your experience and your content. So get my lead magnet and then create yours from that. So check out top10speakingmistakes.com. Stage Time workshops. We have 3-day events, some virtual, some hybrid. We're here in Vegas. Our big one coming up is called Game Changers. And then getaspeakingcoach.com. I have 7 world-class coaches. They all have their different strengths, but you can go to that page and check it out. On that page, I even have a podcast where I teach you how to find the right coach for you. I might not be the right one. Yes, I'm a coach and I'm selling it, and I think you should find a coach, but I might not be the right one for you. I'm good at polish and characters. That's my strength, use of stage. Mark Brown is great at going into your life and finding the content from your life, the gold stories. So getaspeakingcoach.com, top 10 speaking mistakes, and Stage Time workshops.
Love it. Powerful. Thank you so much for being on with us, Darren. I know how busy you are, and I appreciate it for you taking the time to inspire our HeartPowered Global Nation and our community all over the globe of amazing entrepreneurs, speakers, and change makers. And all of you that have been with us today, I know you took away a lot of golden nuggets. So as we said, just play with us on the challenge, take that action today. Let us know how it's going for you, and definitely check out the coaching platform and the top 10 mistakes and and the events Darren is running. I've learned a lot from you, Darren. I know everyone here will as well. Don't miss that opportunity. So thank you, Darren, for being on today. With a final inspiring message.
Never turn down stage time and reach out every day.
Love it. Love it. Couldn't have summarized it in any better way. So thank you. Okay. So never turn down stage time and reach out every single day. All of you keep doing your own magic. And as we always say, right? So be a sponge. Love it, right? And, as we always say, keep making your own magic as a speaker, as a change maker, as an entrepreneur. Speak up, scale up, impact the world in your own powerful way. And we'll be back with another interview very soon. All the best until then. Cheers for now.